Imagine a world hidden beneath your feet, a vast, unexplored realm where ancient civilizations thrive in secret, possessing advanced technology, ancient knowledge, and secrets that no one above the surface knows. This is the heart of the inner Earth theory, a concept that challenges everything we know about our planet. Stories from ancient cultures, strange scientific anomalies, and even modern explorers hint at something more beneath the surface. Could it be possible that beneath our feet lies a mysterious world waiting to be discovered? The Bible mentions a place located beneath our feet known as Sheol. This place is also known as Hades, or the underworld. Sheol is a term used to describe the place where the dead go after they die. It's often thought of as an underground realm, or the grave. In the Old Testament, people believed that when someone died, their soul went to Sheol, regardless of whether they were good or bad. It wasn't necessarily a place of punishment, but rather a shadowy, quiet place of waiting. Over time, the idea of Sheol evolved, and in later biblical texts, it became more associated with concepts of the afterlife and the distinction between places for the righteous and the wicked. The Book of Enoch expands on the traditional biblical understanding of Sheol, giving it more structure and emphasizing its role in the afterlife, with different fates depending on how people lived. While not part of the official biblical canon for most Christian traditions, the Book of Enoch influenced early Jewish and Christian thought, especially regarding the afterlife and concepts of divine judgment. So what does this have to do with Hollow Earth? Well, this gives us potential evidence from a biblical perspective that some place like this actually exists. But there is also more physical evidence of this place, and there was life found inside of the earth, non-human intelligent life, that is. Richard Evelyn Byrd Jr., an American naval officer, was a pioneering American aviator, polar explorer, and organizer of polar logistics. Aircraft flights, in which he served as a navigator and expedition leader, crossed the Atlantic Ocean, a segment of the Arctic Ocean, and a segment of the Antarctic Plateau. He is also known for discovering Mount Sidley, the largest dormant volcano in Antarctica. But there is a lesser-known discovery that Admiral Byrd unveiled. Byrd's so-called secret diary from a 1947 flight to the North Pole describes an extraordinary journey into a hidden world inside the Earth. In this supposed diary, Byrd is said to have flew into an opening at the North Pole in 1947 during a secret mission, where he claimed to have encountered an advanced underground civilization. These accounts say Byrd's aircraft was guided by UFO-like craft and that he communicated with beings from this inner Earth. When Byrd was flying over this strange land, he encountered a lush green landscape, far from the icy terrain expected in that region. He allegedly described seeing large animals resembling woolly mammoths and meeting an advanced, peaceful civilization living in this inner Earth world. According to these accounts, the inhabitants of this hidden realm reportedly communicated with him telepathically and warned him about the destructive potential of humanity's use of atomic weapons. The beings he supposedly encountered during his flight to the inner Earth were described as advanced, human-like figures, often referred to as Ariani. These beings were said to be tall, fair-skinned, and looked somewhat Nordic or Aryan in appearance. They are often portrayed as having an aura of peace and wisdom, and are sometimes depicted as a highly advanced, ancient race with superior technology. The inner Earth is often said to be illuminated by a soft, glowing light, possibly from a central sun or some form of luminescence that lights the subterranean realm, creating an environment suitable for life. However, there aren't only peaceful creatures in the Hollow Earth. In this segment of the video, we'll be focusing on the creatures that reside inside of the inner Earth, also known as Agartha. Some versions of the Hollow Earth theory propose that giant human-like figures, possibly the Nephilim from biblical lore, reside in the inner world. The Nephilim giants are a hostile race of angel-human hybrids. But this is only the tip of the iceberg. In some versions of the Hollow Earth mythos, reptilian humanoids or other extraterrestrial species are believed to live beneath the Earth's surface, possibly controlling events on the surface. Phil Schneider, a geologist and engineer who worked on government projects, claimed to have encountered reptilian humanoids while working on underground military bases in Dulce, New Mexico in the 1970s. According to Schneider, during a project to construct a deep underground military base, he accidentally came across a group of reptilian beings living in subterranean caverns. He alleged a violent encounter with these beings and claimed that the US government was aware of their existence and had entered into secret agreements with them. After making these claims, Schneider passed away under mysterious circumstances, leaving the public in awe. Before his death, Schneider had been giving public talks about his experiences working on top-secret projects, particularly deep underground military bases. He also claimed that the US government was involved in covert operations with extraterrestrials, including the violent encounter with reptilian beings during the construction of a base in Dulce that I've mentioned. Throughout history, various people have claimed to encounter strange, lizard-like or reptilian creatures in caves, tunnels, and underground locations. Some cryptozoologists and enthusiasts believe that these sightings may be linked to ancient myths of underground dwellers or cryptids. Others claim that prehistoric creatures believed to be extinct are still thriving within the earth. Creatures such as the woolly mammoth, dinosaurs, and pterosaurs, which are flying reptiles from prehistoric times, such as pterodactyls, are sometimes said to soar through the vast caverns of Hollow Earth. However, the most interesting creatures said to exist inside of Agartha is the hybrid creatures. These creatures can only be described as crosses between humans and animals. In the Book of Enoch, the Watcher Angels were responsible for using human DNA and animal DNA to make strange hybrid creatures. Also, when we look at other beliefs from around the world, there appears to be a common theme. Many of them share an illustration of hybrid beings. In Greek mythology, you have beings like the centaurs. In ancient Egypt, the gods are strange hybrid-looking creatures. Even in ancient Sumerian beliefs, the Anunnaki sometimes appears with the head of an eagle and a human-like body, similar to the Egyptian god Ra. Or the Anunnaki will appear with the body of a bull and a human-like head. Other creatures that exist within the inner earth are strange insect-like creatures known as insectoid, or arachnid beings. In some accounts, particularly from esoteric or cryptozoological perspectives, there are reports of giant insect-like creatures, or spider-like entities living in the deep caverns. In many ancient myths and Hollow Earth theories, giant serpents or snake-like beings, similar to the serpent from the Garden of Eden, are said to dwell in the underworld, guarding secrets or portals that lead to the hidden realms. One of the most colorful and detailed accounts of Hollow Earth comes from the book The Smoky God, written by Willis George Emerson, which recounts the alleged adventures of Olaf Jansen, a Norwegian sailor. According to the story, Jansen and his father sailed into an opening at the North Pole and lived for 2 years among the advanced inhabitants of the inner Earth. Jansen claimed that this civilization was highly developed, with people who were 12 feet tall and lived for centuries. This inner world, as described by Jansen, is home to an advanced, utopian civilization of giant beings who live for centuries and possess knowledge far beyond that of the surface world. The people of this hidden realm worship a central sun, a dimmer version of our own, which provides light and life to their expansive underground cities and lush landscapes. Jansen's narrative is both fascinating and bizarre. He describes massive rivers, fertile lands, and towering inhabitants who are giants in comparison to an average human. These beings have access to technology and wisdom lost to those living on the surface. After spending 2 years in this peaceful paradise, Jansen and his father attempt to return home, only to face tragedy and disbelief from the outside world. In this subterranean world, mammoths are described as still existing and being domesticated by the giants. These mammoths are used like animals of burden or as a means of transportation, similar to how humans have historically used elephants or horses. This detail ties into the idea that extinct creatures might still exist in hidden or isolated parts of the world. While not creatures in the traditional sense, the plants and flora of the inner earth are described as unusual and gigantic. The sun, referred to as the smoky god because of its soft, diffuse glow, is said to create an ideal environment for plants, making them grow to extraordinary sizes. Trees and crops are far larger than those found on the surface. Though the story doesn't go into great detail about specific types of birds or animals beyond the domesticated mammoths, there are references to strange animals that Olaf Jansen observes during his stay in the inner Earth. These creatures are implied to be different from those found on the Earth's surface, though exact descriptions are scarce, leaving much to the reader's imagination. Raymond W. Bernard, a pseudonym for Walter Siegmeister, was an American author and proponent of fringe theories. In his book, The Hollow Earth, 1969, Bernard claimed that several explorers, including Byrd, had discovered entrances to a vast underground world. Bernard promoted the idea that this inner civilization might be linked to UFOs and advanced beings. His book played a significant role in popularizing the Hollow Earth concept during the 20th century. In Bernard's book, he claims the North and South Poles aren't just icy wastelands. Bernard claims they are actually portals leading to a hidden, thriving inner civilization. William Reed was another important figure in Hollow Earth literature, and Bernard refers to Reed's book Phantom of the Poles, 1906, in his own work. Reed proposed that the Earth was hollow and that there were large openings at the poles leading to an inner world. Bernard used Reed's theories to bolster his own arguments, claiming that Reed's research supported the idea of a vast, unexplored inner realm. Bernard draws on various esoteric and spiritual traditions to frame his Hollow Earth theories. He suggests that ancient civilizations and mystical teachings, such as those of Tibet, India, and the Maya, had knowledge of underground realms or hidden inner worlds. He connects these traditions to his belief that the Hollow Earth is not only a physical reality, but also a spiritual and mystical one, inhabited by enlightened beings. The Antarctic Treaty was signed on the 1st of December 1959 in Washington, D.C. The treaty entered into force on the 23rd of June 1961. The 12 signatories became the original 12 consultative nations. The Antarctic Treaty was signed primarily to prevent the escalating tensions over territorial claims and potential military conflict in Antarctica. The Cold War was at its height. There was growing concern that these disputes could lead to conflict or military activity in this fragile region. The treaty established Antarctica as a peaceful zone, free from military activities, nuclear testing, and radioactive waste disposal. It was a groundbreaking diplomatic achievement, as it emphasized international scientific cooperation, recognizing the continent's unique value for research on climate, ecosystems, and Earth's history. The Antarctic Treaty also suspended national territorial claims, focusing instead on preserving the continent for peaceful and scientific purposes. By signing the treaty, nations agreed to work together, prioritize environmental protection, and maintain Antarctica as a demilitarized and neutral zone, setting an unprecedented model for international cooperation and peace during a time of global tension. Do you believe that this is all there is to this treaty? Or is this land protected due to something else completely? Something far more secret,